Well, isn't the Batman here to steal all my coyote urine?
Welcome to a bad recap of The Batman. Now the movie starts with the mayor of Gotham watching It's Better Call Saul. We then see a hidden figure shrouded in the darkness of the room wearing just the kinkiest supervillain costume I've ever seen. Now it turns out the figure isn't a fan of the funny lawyer show, so he lunges at the mayor and beats him to death using an item. I don't know what it is. After that delightful opening scene, we get some narration from the Cape Crusader himself, played by Robert Pattinson, the newest iteration of everyone's favourite emo crime fighter. Now Robert sports a much leaner Batman physique compared to the hulking presence of Benjamin Affleck. This is because when it came around to bulking up for the role, he refused any dietary supplements like protein powder to aid in his transformation. When asked why, he claimed that something's in the way. We see a group of average Birmingham teenagers who decide to beat up this poor man because luckily the man gets saved when Batman enters the scene from this dark alleyway. He was probably just taking a piss down there and was fortunate enough to stumble into the gang. The leader of the gang is like, "What are you gonna do, hit me?" Now remember guys, Batman doesn't kill, but this does take place in America, so the hospital bills might. After watching the brutal beatdown, the rest of the boys decide the solution is more fists. But Batman is all fired up and ready to engage in some melee. And when even that doesn't work, the boys resort to new Batman gun! Now, unfortunately, the Batman gun isn't very effective against heavily plated armor. You know, it's much more effective against bare skin, but the thugs are going to shoot the armor anyway. So Batman shrugs off the attacks and is like, "Bat taser." This beatdown is interrupted by the bat signal, calling him to the murder scene from the start of the film. He just kind of stands there awkwardly, relatable, and then goes around doing the police's job. "Oh, this is a nice floor."
Yeah, move, guys, I'm gonna take a picture. Bring this bitch.
Detective Gordon's handed a letter addressed to the Batman, and he opens it. Well, mystery solved, guys. Jim Gordon is Batman. Either that or he's just incredibly rude. The letter contains a super funny riddle and some code along with a cipher. Now, while Jim and the Commissioner are arguing, similar to how my parents do, Batman solves the riddle because he's super smart and handsome, with the solution of the riddle just being a terrible pun that's just the late mayor enjoyed telling porkies. That's British for lies. Instead of thanking Batman for solving the riddle, the Commissioner just calls him a freak and wanders off to make a statement to the city. We also find out that the body of the mayor was found by his son, who looks very upset, you know, probably because they're keeping him in the same room as his father's corpse. Batman just gives him a good stare down, probably thinking about how to hire him as Robin. So Batman drives back to the Batcave, where we see that he wears a super high-tech lens that allows him to record everything he sees and watch later, so he can learn from his counters and identify things he may have missed. Or to put it more simply, he's got the whole night on replay. And he even writes in a diary. How cute. He's just an adult version of Greg Heffley. Alfred comes down looking dapper as hell, and Bruce shows him the footage from last night. Very similar to how I show my wife my Minecraft world. She never cares. Now Bruce wants to print off the letter he received, but before doing that he rotates the entire image 180 degrees, because he's a genius. Alfred and Bruce start tag teaming the cipher. It's actually pretty wholesome. I'm not smart enough to follow what they do, but they decipher the word drive. Wait, drive? This leads Batman and Gordon to the mayor's garage, because garages have cars, and cars drive. And in the case of some cars, they drive me crazy. They find the murderer, or Riddler makes more sense. They find the Riddler's circumcision scissors, with bloodstains implying that it was used to sever the mayor's thumb. And then inside the car, they find a thumb drive.
Oh, this guy's hilarious.
Gordon plugs the drive into what looks like his work laptop with loads of sensitive GCPD files on it. Obviously, this is a terrible idea. The Riddler's probably going to start mining crypto. Now, the drive contains a load of images showing the mayor leaving a club with a severely beaten up is that my wife? As well as the Penguin, a powerful crime boss who looked much more attractive when he was played by Danny DeVito.
What was that?
The bloody Apple whoosh sound effect plays as the images depicting the late mayor as a dirty scoundrel get sent to all of Gotham's news sites directly from Gordon's account via his mail client called Mail client. Nice one, lads. Gordon tells Batman that he'll never get into the club without a warrant, but he of course takes it as a personal challenge, walks straight to the front door, assaults the bouncers who are just doing their job, and then proceeds to beat the shit out of anyone who challenges him. I wanted to talk about how cool this sequence was, but unfortunately I'm epileptic and blacked out instantly. He eventually gets face to face with the Penguin, who is literally just a stereotypical New Yorker. In his office, Batman hands him the pictures from the thumb drive. Now, there's no way Gordon would let him take the drive to make copies of these images, so these high-res, perfect images must have been captured with his eye camera. Bro, shit shoots in 4K or something. And not only that, but there isn't a single crease on any one of these photos. Bruce, why the f were you keeping these? Were you smuggling them in the folder up your ass? But you couldn't have, because there's not a single crease to fold in them. Ugh, movie immersion ruined. I can just about accept women existing, but these crinkless photos are way too far. We're then introduced to Catwoman, who looks at the photos and gives Batman a look to say, I know who this bitch is. The Penguin claims he doesn't know the girl, so Batman leaves to talk to Catwoman, but oh no, she's heading out. Time for my favorite pastime, following women home in the dead of that's not funny. So Batman follows Catwoman back to her flat, where we also find the mystery girl spotted with the mayor. After a nice chit chat, I say nice, the girl was in tears for most of it. She changes into her Catwoman gear and sets off into the night. Now Batman obviously wants to subtly follow her, so chases her on his motorbike at a distance of about 20 meters. They arrive at the mayor's house and Catwoman breaks in and cracks the mayor's safe. This is obviously illegal and Batman doesn't like that, so he breaks in to talk to her. Catwoman attempts to beat up Batman, but he just holds the block button and doesn't move. Coward. Catwoman's like,
Parry this, you fucking casual.
and performs a super cool tag move that Batman just instantly parries. Nice try, love. Batman snatches the passport that she was trying to steal and finds the name of the mystery girl. I'm not gonna try. Now, believe it or not, guys, but the currently active crime scene does indeed have a police officer stationed at it. Who would have guessed? Now, the two are now bestest friends. I guess Batman gives really good hugs. And they go back to Catwoman's place to talk to the mystery girl. Uh-oh. Bloody hell. Look at the state of the flat. The girl is gone, and Catwoman is upset because, I don't know, I think there may be something there. I mean, she keeps calling her baby, so, you know, guys, I've been thinking. Is Catwoman gay? I reckon it would be really progressive and cool for these characters to be lovers.
She's just a kid.
Now, while Catwoman is freaking out, Batman is watching, but no way he's watching Better Call Saul at a time like this. I lied. He's actually just watching the news. On the news, the Riddler's like,
Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to my mission to turn rats into plastic surgeons. This test isn't going well.
Catwoman recognizes the commissioner as someone who visited the club often with the mayor.
Congratulations, you got the
What
job.
the fuck? What job?
No time, Robin. We gotta go.
What the fuck?
In the morgue, Batman and Gordon look for clues and find even more fan mail. This letter instructs Batman to find the rat and bring him into the light. Now, this perplexes Batman, which is weird, because even I know this is just a reference to the film Ratatouille. Catwoman gets the funny eye lens, and Batman challenges her to a staring competition.
I win, bitch.
She then gets handed a glowing earpiece, very subtle. She goes down and starts live streaming from the club and makes her way to the back. She runs into one of the guys that Batman beat up and he mouths off down the mic.
Yo, that's the dude I beat off. I mean, beat up.
No homo.
On the secret level of the club, Batman's tech IDs a load of powerful people like bankers, government people, I mean, even Tom Scott's down here. Catwoman gets face to face with Hector Hammond from Green Lantern, who's also the DA of Gotham. Big move from the big head man. Hector starts crying and bitching about the Riddler not being a very cash money addition to the city. And since he's taken more drugs than I do when I have to spend time with my wife, he starts spilling the beans about the rat. And we learn that they have an informant on the inside of Gotham's criminal underworld. Now, Batman wants more information about the rat, but Catwoman chases after someone who mentioned the funny name girl that went missing. But before she can question her, the Penguin arrives on scene with Carmine Falcone. Carmine as in what happens in Northern Ireland, and Falcone as in Falcon. Turns out Catwoman and Falcone are already acquainted. But before Batman can find out how, Catwoman takes off the lens, which cuts the video and audio feed. This, of course, makes complete sense, and I agree that it would happen logically. I am also lying. Out on the street, Catwoman takes the taxi away from the nightclub. She doesn't even attempt to return Batman's property. This is called theft and makes you a criminal. She also denies a lift from Hector, who is 100% after the cat in Catwoman. Or the woman in Catwoman, I guess. He wants to fuck. After being rejected, relatable, he goes over to his car parked right outside the nightclub where he gets attacked by the Riddler, who knocks him out and clamps a very epic gamer RGB neck pillow on him. Now Bruce is finally dressed in normal clothes because he's attending the mayor's funeral. Alfred gets super giddy at the sight of Bruce leaving the house as Bruce, and I wish my parents were half as supportive as this. He's also been working on the last cipher, which for some reason is in Spanish. I guess even supervillains get scared of the thought of missing their Duolingo lessons. The message translates to "You are the rat with wings," which is coincidentally what my wife calls me. At the funeral, Bruce thinks he sees Catwoman walking with Falcone and the crime boys, and decides to beeline straight towards her. He does get stopped by the Penguin, but God knows what he would have done if he made it to her. We do see that it wasn't Catwoman, just a woman wearing boots. Falcone recognizes Bruce and is like, "Hey, I'm walking here. I knew your paps. You saved my life." Forget about it. I can't do accents, I'm sorry. In the church, Bruce listens in on Gordon, who tells the police chief that Hector from Green Lantern is missing. Guys, maybe he has the shits. Don't be so f***ing nosy. Tire screeching is then heard from outside and a car bursts into the church. Now, if any of you are car guys, please explain to me why? And also how the car got through the blockage of other cars and managed to climb the stairs. I really want to know. The police surround the car and outsteps Hector, but we found him, guys. Someone from the back screams there's a bomb around his neck. Nice job jumping to conclusions, dickhead. I mean, you were correct, but maybe this poor man is just trying to repopularize the rough.
Racist.
He's got a ringing phone taped to his hand and a letter to the Batman taped to his chest. We now cut to a few hours later because it's nighttime, and we get an epic cameo from Wally. Looks like Eve divorced him, so he became a bum disposal bot just to feel something. Relatable. Batman then waltzes onto the scene. Nice job with the perimeter there, police. Hector starts freaking out, so the Batman tries to calm him down.
Keep your head on.
Bro, that's not funny. There's a bomb around my neck.
Come on, let's not blow things out of proportion.
What the fuck,
Why aren't you
man?
laughing?
Help me.
These jokes are good. They're not supposed to bomb.
What? Did you write these on the way over or something?
Yeah, I did. You really love the neck.
Dude, just kill me. I've had enough.
Oh, I should talk to hostages more often. I'm having a blast.
Batman answers the phone that's been ringing for the last 6 hours. The Riddler starts live streaming his FaceTime with Batman and Hector like some demented Japanese game show. He wants them to answer 3 riddles in 2 minutes to unlock the neck bomb. Seems fair.
Riddle 1. If quizzes are quizzical, then what are tests?
Wait, can you repeat that? Quizzes are quizzical. What are tests?
Testicle.
Huh?
The answer his testicle.
Testicles?
Yes, testicle.
The second riddle asks Hector how much he accepts for bribes, and the final riddle asks who the rat is. Now, Batman really wants to know this, so he gets all up in his face trying to get him to say. But Hector knows that he's a dead man either way, so he keeps his trap shut and gets blown the fuck up. That's such a shame that Batman has died just an hour into his first movie. Never mind, he's fine. He wakes up in the police station without any marks, suggesting he just tanked a pretty intense explosion at point blank range. You know, no pieces of Hector, no dust, burn marks, or anything. One of the officers realizes that despite him being unconscious for at least an hour, now is the perfect opportunity to take off the mask and reveal his identity. Now, Batman doesn't like this proposal, so attempts to commit assault. Gordon wants some alone time with his BFF Batman, so all the cops leave the room, allowing them to do their secret buddy fist bump in privacy. So close, Bruce. Batman whispers to Gordon that
It says gullible on that wall over there.
holy shit, really?
Vengeance.
So Batman gets chased by the rest of the cops through the precinct. To escape, he shoots his handheld grappling hook up like 25 floors.
Okay.
He then reaches the top and runs out like,
Oh, crap. I forgot I'm afraid of heights. Oh, God. Aim for the bushes.
this effort of fooling with style works perfectly. I lied. Alexa, define concussion. Oh, I don't have one of those. Hey Siri, define concussion.
Concussion means temporary unconsciousness or confusion caused by a blow on the
That's
head.
what I'm saying. Batman teams up with Gordon to try and figure out what the crime lads are up to and why loads of cops are involved.
Just as I predicted. Pokemon cards.
Batman then hears a motorcycle loudly pull up to the after party and sees the funny cat lady. Fortunately for her stealth mission, the goons didn't hear the motorcycle, so get ambushed very easily. Batman jump scares her while she's ruffling through a duffel bag. She doesn't find anything too noteworthy until she opens the next bag and finds a woman. Damn, sucks to suck. Penguin and some other goons open fire on the two of them and actually knock Batman down right next to Catwoman, but somehow without anyone noticing, he manages to scuttle off into the shadows. Alright, enough cock rating. It's time for the taste test. This obviously spooks the Penguin, who jumps in a car and drives off. He leaves all his henchmen and the bags of money behind. So you may be wondering what he's actually doing. It's simple.
He's making a getaway.
I'm not making jokes about the next sequence, it is just f***ing sick. Very cool, nice car chase, Fast and Furious type shit, and the Walter White cameo was very nice. Now, ignoring the many casualties that took place during the chase, Batman and Gordon target the Penguin, who makes a funny Marvel quip.
The hell is this? Good cop, batshit cop?
Thank you, Joss Whedon. The two start accusing the Penguin of being all sorts of things because they think he's El Rata Elada, the winged rat. Because, you know, Penguin. He very quickly points out the tomfoolery by saying that a rat with wings is a bat. Batman doesn't like being wrong though, so instead comes to the conclusion that you are El Rata Elada means go to the URL Rata Elada. But call that a stretch. The site opens a direct chat line with the Riddler, who politely tells Batman he's an idiot, and then tells him who his next victim is through a riddle. He's never gonna get this one.
Any idea? He's an orphan.
Where? They leave the Penguin tied up under the bridge, and he waddles like an actual penguin. How epic. Then they go to the funny dark orphanage. Hello! Where a video of Thomas Wayne talking about charities playing on the projector. Some writing on the wall also reveals the Riddler's next target is Bruce Wayne. Obviously, the Riddler has no idea Bruce is Batman. From his point of view, all he does is,
He wakes up at midday.
which, come to think of it, is a valid reason to deserve death. Batman then vanishes and speeds his way back to Wayne Tower. At the same time, we're shown Alfred vibing back at the tower when he picks up Bruce's mail. There's a big sign on the package that says for Bruce Wayne's eyes only. Turns out Alfred cannot read because he opens it anyway. He opens the package to find a fireproof envelope containing a message for the Batman as well as a nice little present. After ringing for a while, somebody finally answers the phone.
Hello.
Dory, you fat old bitch, put Alfred on.
Oh, Mr. Wayne, the IRS has been in
Fuck
contact.
up, Dory. Something terrible's gonna happen to Alfred.
What? Again?
Turns out Matt Reeves was lying. The snake. Alfred was blown up a full hour ago. He saw a funny beepy boy in the back of the package and luckily had enough time to throw it across the room before it detonated. Kind of a shit explosive to be fair. If some old British bloke has enough time to dropkick it away from them, he's done a shite job. Anyway, with the temporary loss of his best buddy, Bruce decides to take off his shirt. I'm not complaining. And despite having enough tech to render my cock, dick and balls to scale with ray tracing, Bruce chooses to inhale spray paint fumes indoors. My brother, Microsoft Paint is free. After reading a few words, he's cracked the case. Was it really worth vandalizing his house? No. But before he could dig deeper, he gets a Discord call from his kitten, from Catwoman, who has somehow turned on the funny lens camera. But where was the on switch, Selina? Ignoring that, they meet up at the construction site and argue like my parents. Batman wants to know what she has to do with Falcone, and she's like,
I came out of his penis.
That's not how it works.
Anyway, basically, Falcone, bad dad. But he was in Cars too, so not all bad. Catwoman talks about white privileged assholes and is like,
Bruce Wayne, cringe. Anyway, wanna make out bats?
wait, they're kissing? I
thought that she was gay.
Now, there was originally an oral scene here, but it got cut because heroes don't do that. That is a reference, not just a weird statement. I promise. Back in the Batcave, Bruce takes off his cowl. There is no protective material there whatsoever. It's practically just a condom. He's watching a video that the Riddler released about the Waynes. It's basically a Sunny V2 video, except narrated by a psychopath. Basically, he claims that Martha's mother was proper cringe. Martha herself, Bruce's mum, was constantly in and out of institutions. Pff, who isn't? Thomas tried to cover it all up. Oh, hush, that could be a teaser. But after the reporter spilling all the beans denied the hush money, Thomas turned to Falcone to have him murdered. Now, Bruce doesn't like hearing this because, you know, do I have to explain? It's not a nice thing to hear about your father. Riddler ends his video by telling Bruce that he's responsible for the sins of his father, and I wish that were true, because I think it would be really funny to leave my son with 3 life sentences. Bruce heads to the nightclub from earlier in the film, this time opting not to assault bouncers and instead request entrance like a normal person. He talks with Falcone and asks him if what the Riddler said was true, and Falcone is like, yep. He then says, don't lose any sleep over it. Forget about it. He tells Bruce that a rival gangster Maroney was the one who hired the reporter to dig into the Waynes, and then suggests that Maroney was the one who had Thomas Wayne killed. Bruce then goes to visit Alfred at the hospital. Alfred opens his eyes, sees him, and begins to smile. How sweet. But sorry, Alfred, I know that you literally just died. But Bruce isn't here on a social call. You see,
There's something he wants to say.
he lectures Alfred about being a prick and lying to him about his dad for his entire life. Meanwhile, Alfred just stares at him like, bitch, I was dead half an hour ago. After Bruce calms down, Alfred tells him that Carmine Falcone, a criminal mob boss, is also a liar. Who would have guessed? I mean, clearly not the world's greatest detective. What actually happened is Thomas went to Falcone and asked him to scare off the reporter. Falcone scared him to death, which wasn't what Thomas wanted. So he told Falcone he was going to the police to tell them everything. Falcone thought that option was pretty cringe, so he was actually the one who had the Waynes killed. Mental. The bat signal gets lit up, so Batman heads out to go and meet Gordon. But when he arrives at the construction site, so does Gordon. Turns out Catwoman has just added herself to their private group chat. She's also captured the cop that had Batgirl in the back of his car. She tosses Batman her phone that the cop stole to show him a voicemail from the girl. Was this transcription useful or not useful? Well, you've got 7 words of a 2-minute message, but nice try. The 3 of them stand around awkwardly listening to the voicemail of Falcone game-ending the girl. Batman then instantly makes the connection that Falcone is Ranta Alada, because, you know, sure, why not? Falcon bird have wings. The cop confesses that Falcone is the rat who talked to the cops, but not really, because most of the cops just work for him. Catwoman decides to kill the guy, but the other 2 aren't that fond of that idea, so pull him back to safety while letting Catwoman jump off the building. Was that her plan? Turns out it was. She didn't hit the pavement at terminal velocity and instead hopped on the bike and went to kill her father. Bruh. She talks to Falcone about how she misses her friend, and he just stands there like, too bad, that sucks. Forget about it. That's getting old, Jesus. Catwoman decides it's time to violate the Geneva suggestions and reaches into her purse for a gun. But at that moment, one of Falcone's henchmen interrupts. This aggravates Falcone, who loudly explains, hey, I'm talking here. Oh, that's the worst one so far. I'm walking, I'm talking here. He leaves with his henchman to see that his goofy little murder has made it onto the news. While he's distracted by that, Catwoman decides to commit to the game end. As she pulls the trigger, though, Batman kills Power to the nightclub. Yeah, he's also here. Just wanted to surprise you. Were you surprised? No. Thanks to frame-by-frame navigation, we can see that Falcone actually dodged the bullet after it hit the wall behind him. This could either mean that Catwoman is having a real character moment where she can't commit to killing her father, or she just has dogshit aim. Uh-oh, what's wrong, guys? Are you scared? What, you think a big bad Batman has come to get you? Where is he? Are you worried that...
He's at the end of the hallway.
Very cool. Now shut the fuck up for a second. Now, Catwoman still really wants to kill her dad. God, I hope to have a strong relationship like this with my daughter one day. Falcone gets the upper hand and is like, hey, I'm choking here. Now, Batman, like the rest of you, is getting fed up with this bit, so gives Falcone a good thump on the noggin and takes him outside to get arrested by the entire police force. Yeah, nice resource management, morons. They also don't seem too fussed about Batman assaulting an officer and resisting arrest earlier, but like me when it comes to supporting my family, they probably just forgot. Falcone calls a penguin fat or something, so he decides to murder him in front of the police force. Rookie mistake. And in the big kerfuffle, Falcone gets shot dead, but not by the penguin, or by Catwoman, or any of the crap police, or Jim, or Alfred. That would have been cool. No, he was shot by the Riddler. Almost forgot he was the villain. Batman realizes the whoopsie he has made because he brought the rat into the light.
Oh, yeah. Interesting thought process. Oh, wait, look at me!
Everyone rushes up to catch the Riddle Man, but uh-oh, he escaped. How?
Martinez.
Yes, so we have a witness here who claims he jumped out of his window, broke both his legs, and rolled into a Starbucks.
Oh, sorry.
Guys, what the fuck? He drinking coffee like nothing happened. Now, it goes without saying that he who smelt it dealt it, and also that a witness's word is always 100% truthful. So the cops bust into the coffee store and assault the first person they find. Thank you, America.
Which one is you? You tell me.
The police are now tearing apart the Riddler's apartment. They're reading his diary, looking at his tools, pissing his floor.
Stop recording!
Last one was a lie. And then Batman finds another letter and a murder weapon from the start of the film. Very brave of the Riddler to rat himself out. Batman gets called over to Arkham because the Riddler wants a chat.
All everyone wants to do is unmask you, but they're missing the point. You and I both know. I'm looking at the real you right now. My mask allowed me to be myself completely. No shame. No limits.
He heads back to the apartment where he gets busted by Officer Sweet Cheeks. Hey, what are you doing here? You can't just be here. It's a crime scene. What are you doing? I guess you can stay around. After Bruce passes the vibe check, the officer identifies the murder weapon from the start of the film as a carpet tool while trying to make small talk. Don't worry, Martinez, I'm also socially inept. Batman tears up the apartment carpet, something I would have done anyway because it's bloody hideous, and he discovers the Riddler's endgame plan. Using the writing on the floor, they manage to unlock a VOD from one of the Riddler's live streams.
Hey guys.
He reveals his master plan to his 500 followers, which is to blow up Gotham's seawall, flooding the city just like that one film, Ice Age 2, The Meltdown. The survivors of the flooding will have a secret refuge at the venue for the city's election, but the Riddler tells his goons to be waiting. We cut to the venue where we see the turnout for the fan meetup, which for 500 followers is bloody impressive. Catwoman is trying to leave the city at this point because her daddy's dead and her girlfriend's toast, but she's not allowed out because the movie has to happen. In the venue, Gordon is trying to protect the lead candidate for Gotham Mayor, Bella Real, but she really wants to go and shill a crypto scheme, so walks out to the crowd of screaming losers to try and talk to them. But just like my wife when I forget to add in Minecraft to the end of my threats, the crowd is in a state of pure panic and won't listen to them. Right, I want to consult the screenplay here because apparently she spots the glint of a rifle up behind the lights. Fucking no. What FOV is this bitch playing on? I mean, I can barely see the will to live, and my therapist says it's right in front of me. How is she seeing a glint up in the lights? So Bella gets shot, but luckily the Riddler's goons are basically just Redditors, so they miss all the game-ending shots while she's being slowly pulled off. Gordon looks up at the scaffolding to see a barrage of explosions, and just, wait a second guys. Oh my god. I've got to finish the script one-handed now, god. Let's ignore the fact that Batman just sent many shards of glass onto the bystanders below. It doesn't matter because they're poor. I also like the idea that he wanted a really cool entrance, so went and placed explosives all around the dome, probably humming Nirvana to himself when he did it. I mean, sure, he wasted valuable time, and could have prevented Bella from getting shot, or potentially killed if Riddler's fans weren't dogshit shooters, but the entrance was just the dog's bollocks, so it was definitely worth it. In fact, I'm going to use the same entrance for my daughter's ballet performance next week. So while I've been rambling, Batman's been kicking ass, and it is really cool to see him this agile in combat. Like, we haven't seen fight scenes this fluid since Adam West. There's this hilarious scene where he gets shot in the chest, but then the shooter's gun jams, and there's like a second of pure fear from the goon, and the Batman just starts charging at Tom Speed while growling. I don't know if it's actually that funny, but watching it now at 3am is just the funniest shit I've ever seen. Anyway, Batman does some more sick fighting. He even tries spinning because that's a good trick. He's doing really well against the goons until he decides to edge walk towards one of them, giving them enough time to shoot a shotgun blast to his chest. Why did he let them do that? Is he stupid? Now, no amount of prep time could have saved him from the position he's currently in, but do you know what does save him? Friendship, that's right. They share a very nice moment together that gets brutally interrupted by some blunt force trauma. Very considerate of this guy to melee Catwoman instead of gun. Batman almost considers leaving her to deal with the last guy by herself, considering he dealt with every other goon, but given that she's on the brink of death, he injects himself with some drug that gives him the strength to fight. It's probably just some lame shit like adrenaline, but it's much cooler to think it's an early version of Bane's venom. He unleashes 13 punches straight into the goon's face, which doesn't really do as much damage as I was expecting. I mean, this guy's still alive and breathing. Gordon is here now, by the way, and he asks the guy who he is.
I'm vengeance. Oh shit, forgot to trademark that.
At that moment, all the lights go out as the water rushes in and sweeps up all the pedestrians. This large electric doohickey also falls down and gets dangerously close to the rising water. Now, obviously, if you're not an idiot, you'd know that water plus electricity can cause really bad electric shocks and death. So Batman steps in to make the heroic sacrifice. A very powerful moment that unfortunately gets ruined by how unrealistic it is. Where's his skeleton, Matt Reeves? When man gets shocked, you see man's skeleton. It's simple physics. Fix that for you, Matt, you fucking amateur. Now, obviously, Batman doesn't end up dying. They knew this film would make way too much money to not have a sequel. Instead, he quite literally steps out of the shadows and into the light to be the hero the city needs. There's then a closing monologue from Batman about the state of the city and how it's basically all underwater. Perfect time to develop some shark repellent back spray. So yeah, Batman's a hero now, Riddler's plan is foiled, but there is now a power vacuum that will attract all sorts of villainy to rise up in Gotham. And Batman will have to deal with it alone because Catwoman is skipping town. She tries to convince him to come with, but he has homework due, so has to stick around. So the two go their separate ways, like I hope to someday do with my wife. And the movie ends with Batman ready for what's coming. But yeah, good movie. I love the parts that weren't too dark to see, and my favorite character was Caesar the chimpanzee. If you enjoyed this recap, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you don't miss the next one. Spoiler alert, it's Shawshank.